This is magnificent. This is absolutely magnificent, and I know why you're down here, because I can see all your stop signs, and the stop signs are about RIFs, or about layoff notices, and you know darn well, for the last 4 years, 2008, 9, 10, and 11, we were in the middle of a recession, a lot of people are hurting, and for those 4 years, each time money got tight in LAUSD, the first thing the school board did was reach for pink slips and issue thousands of them. You know, thank you, a little boo there. By the way, I am joined up here by our team of officers. Greg, come join us too, thank you. Well, the school board on a regular basis during those 4 years did the same thing. They decided that they would take the expedient route, and they decided that the way to balance the budget was on the backs of students and on the back of the classroom. Now this year, each year we get something from the school board called what's it called? Fiscal stabilization plan, or a cut list. And every year, about this time in February, the school board adopts it, and they move forward and they issue thousands of layoff notices. The difference about this year's cut list is, in the previous years, they were just horrible. This year's cut list is insanity. We are talking about essentially the destruction of LAUSD if they were to adopt this year's cut list. We would look at the complete elimination of the Division of Adult Ed, which, as you know, that's right, let's get a boo in for that. The LAUSD Adult Education Program is the largest and most successful job retraining program in the Western United States. Closing down the Adult Ed program, as Ernest said, would be the equivalent of extending the recession in Los Angeles for another year. But when you disregard communities, you don't worry about that. We're also looking at the complete zeroing out of the early ed centers. Making it impossible for literally thousands of the working poor parents in this district to be able to be working poor. And cutting a hole in community after community. We've heard from the people in arts. Now, arts wasn't scheduled for a 100% cut, only 91%. Year out, we look at this, but this year's cuts take it too far. Now, I and the other UTLA officers, we've come to the school board, and we basically said to them, you can't do this. This is the final bullet in the head of LAUSD's program, of a meaningful public education. And something different is happening this year, and I have to bring up, in addition to the officers, one additional person.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to ask school board member Bennett Kaiser to join us. Funny thing happened when Bennett Kaiser got elected to the school board. The dynamic changed. To quote Cecily Meyer Cruz, when she just said to Bennett, other people let us down, you don't. But, you know, you can judge people by their words or you can judge people by their actions. Before Bennett took office, we had something called public school choice that was sending schools out of our district. Well, that's right. That conveyor belt has been stopped because the dynamic is different on the school board. Now, don't take me wrong. We still have work to do next year in the school board election. But right now, It is a changed environment in there. And we spoke to Bennett, we spoke to the school board members, and we talked to them about changing that insanity. I don't mean public school choice, I mean the annual cut lists. And what they did today is, actually, I want to back up and I want to say one other thing. We don't have a board majority yet. But we do right now. We have been working with members of the Board of Education who haven't always been with us. I would give you the example of, Mr. Vladovic down in the harbor area. Mr. Vladovic took some votes in the last couple of years that we disagreed with. But earlier this year, when it was time for us to look at getting the health benefits package renewed for the next 3 years, he stood up. He understood that a stable LAUSD was necessary if kids were going to thrive, and he did it. He was a leader on that issue. So, there's an old saying from Charles de Gaulle. He said, "Nations don't have eternal friends. They don't have eternal enemies. They only have eternal interests." UTLA's interest is fighting for its members, for the teachers and health and human services professionals, and for the students of this district. And we will work and fight with whomever, fight with or fight against whomever. I'm getting you. Now let me tell you what happened on the cut list today. The guillotine was ready to fall today. The guillotine was ready to fall, and the school board was ready to adopt its cut list. They were about to adopt zeroing out adult ed, zeroing out early education, massive cuts in arts, zeroing out SRLDP, etc. And the school board did something they haven't done in the last few years. They took a step backward. They thought about the harm that was going to be done. Now, am I going to tell you that all our problems are solved? No. But for the first time in this whole cycle of RIF and destroy, the school board had a cut list, a fiscal stabilization plan put in front of them, and they decided not to adopt it. Motion to take that step back was moved and seconded by Steve Zimmer and Dick Vladovic. You said it, Mom. Thank you. You said it. Ladies and gentlemen, the problems aren't solved. What we have done is we have created an opening for this year to be different than the last 4 years. But all we've done is created an opening. And I could take credit for it, and the officers could take credit for it, but I'm looking at the people who deserve the credit for it. You created the pressure. You created the pressure. And we must. Actually, I would prefer that we sell it, actually. Thank you. But this fight is not over. We have got ourselves a little tiny window here, and the school board has shown some positive behavior, and we need to reinforce that positive behavior. But I would quote, school board member Zimmer said we all need to march forth. I would remind you that in 2013, we have March 5th. That would be Election Day in 2013.